All right, let's talk about an author who saw the absolute chaos of life, the tragedy of it all, and just had to laugh. Today, we are diving into the brilliant, messy, and hilarious literary world of J.P. Donleavy.
You know, this question right here, this is pretty much the engine that drives all of J.P. Donleavy's work. He took this idea and ran with it, building this incredible universe that kind of invites us all to find the humor in our own complicated lives.
So, to really get a handle on his genius, here's what we're going to do. We'll look at the man himself, the outlaw author. We'll meet his most famous character, the one and only Ginger Man. Then we'll explore the absurd world he created, crack the code on his unique style, and figure out why his writing still hits so hard today.
Okay, so first things first. Who exactly was J.P. Donleavy? What was the story behind the guy who wrote these wild, unforgettable books?
Well, he was a true master of dark humor. He was a writer who just refused to play by the rules. You see, he didn't really write about the world as we wish it was. He wrote about the world as it actually is. Totally chaotic, often ridiculous, and, well, darkly, deeply funny.
And this is his playbook, really. These are the big themes he returned to again and again. Things like loneliness, love, trying to figure out who we are. These are the struggles we all go through. He just put them under this amazing, darkly comic microscope and wasn't afraid to show us the messy, complicated truth of it all.
So, how do all those ideas actually show up in his work? Well, let's meet his most legendary creation, a character who is just the perfect, chaotic embodiment of everything Donleavy was about.
Yes, the Ginger Man. This book introduces us to Sebastian Dangerfield. He's an American student in post-war Dublin, and he is living a life of, well, glorious irresponsibility. He's got no money, he's a total womanizer, and he is always on the run from the mess he just made.
And this quote just nails it. This is the core of what we've come to know as the Donleavy Man. He's charming, no doubt about it, but he's also incredibly selfish. He's always on this desperate hunt for meaning, but it's happening inside a storm of chaos that he himself created. He craves freedom, but just can't seem to handle any of the responsibility that goes with it.
And you have to understand, stylistically, this book was an absolute bombshell. It was so controversial, openly talking about sex and just ignoring all moral duty, that it was actually banned in both Ireland and the US at first. The writing itself, this rapid-fire stream of consciousness, the razor-sharp wit, it was exploring love and betrayal in a way no one had ever really seen before. It was a brand new sound, and a lot of people wanted it silenced.
Now, Sebastian Dangerfield wasn't just a one-off. Oh no, he was the prototype. For the rest of his career, Donleavy basically built out an entire universe filled with these flawed, hilarious, and captivating characters, and every single one of them was on their own ridiculous quest.
And you can see the pattern so clearly here. You take a book like The Beastly Beatitudes of Balthazar B., where the main character stumbles into being this religious figure, exposing all kinds of hypocrisy. Or A Singular Man, where the protagonist is just drowning in this profound loneliness. The stories change, but that core search for meaning in a world that doesn't seem to offer any, that's always there.
Okay, so what is it that makes a Donleavy book feel so Donleavy? If we were to try and crack his literary code, it really comes down to 4 essential ingredients. First, you've got that darkly comic tone, where heartbreak and a belly laugh can happen in the same sentence. Second, there's his language. It's so rich and almost poetic, it just makes everything feel so alive. Third, of course, are his heroes or anti-heroes, these deeply flawed people who are their own worst enemies, but you just can't help rooting for them. And finally, underneath all that noise and chaos are these beautiful, insightful truths about love, loneliness, and what it means to be human.
So, when all is said and done, what's the big takeaway? What is J.P. Donleavy's legacy, and why do we keep coming back to his books?
Well, the bottom line is this. His contributions made him a massive, absolutely unignorable figure in 20th century literature. He didn't just join the conversation, he started a whole new one, entirely on his own terms.
At the end of the day, his genius was his ability to capture just how messy, ridiculous, and beautiful it is to be a person. That's what makes his writing feel so timeless. Yeah, he challenged how stories could be told, but the bigger thing he did was remind us that our flaws, our weird desires, and all our struggles, that's a shared human experience.
He never really gave us any easy answers, did he? But by leaving us with this beautiful, chaotic world of his, J.P. Donleavy's work makes sure we never stop asking the most important questions.